Welcome back to Healthy Living Live. Nothing like doing a live broadcast. Is that correct, Dr. Georgina? I'm Chef Gary with the YMCA of Central Florida. We have a great special guest with us today, and thank you for being so patient, Dr. Georgina. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself again and a little bit about the Heart Association and what got you involved for those that missed it. And we apologize for the technical difficulties, but we're live now and we're going to get through this. So thanks for being here, Dr. Georgina.
Not a problem, Gary. Thank you for having me. And it's, that's the great thing about life, being live. So this is what happens. Not a problem. So, my name is Georgina Pineda Rolon, and I am part of the board of directors with the American Heart Association. I'm very passionate about the American Heart Association because I have heart disease in my family. My parents and my grandparents passed away of heart disease. So I'm a big advocate of the American Heart Association. This is Heart Month and Heart Awareness Month, and especially for women, because I don't know, Gary, if you know, that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of all women, causing 1 of 3 deaths each year. And that's approximately 1 woman every minute. So we need to do exercise, we need to eat healthy, and that's what we're going to do over here. So let's go and start cooking.
Let's start cooking. So today we're making white beans and super greens. We're going to pop that recipe up for those of you who might have missed it at the beginning. Very simple recipe, just a few ingredients, real simple, real easy to make. It's kind of a cross between a soup and a stew, but it's really good, really delicious, and really healthy for you. So today we're going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ingredients. So real simple, easy to do. The first thing we're going to have is some white beans and greens, right? So we have white beans. I'm using spinach. You could use kale. You could use collards. You could use mustard greens. You can use any greens you want. You could also use any other kind of beans that you want. Dr. Georgina, we were talking a little bit earlier. You said black beans are a staple in the Argentinian diet, correct?
Yeah.
And you could certainly use black beans, and black beans are great for heart health, right? So black beans would be great in this as well. We have some onion and garlic and lemon. I'm using a little crushed red pepper to spice it up a little bit, but you could certainly use sriracha sauce or just leave it out altogether, or any other kind of hot sauce, and some vegetable broth just to bring it all together. And then we'll finish it off with some Parmesan cheese. So we're going to get started with an onion. You know how to cut an onion, Dr. Georgina?
Well, Gary, I know how to cut an onion, but I have to cut them prior to this because I didn't want to have any cuts. And also, I cry every time that I'm cutting any kind of onions.
Well, we always like to teach people how to cut their vegetables and so that they work out well. So when you cut an onion, basically you want to take the top part off. We want to leave that root end in. There we go. There's the root end. Right, we want to leave that root end in. The top we can just put into a garbage bowl, and then I like to cut it down the middle.
You see, I was already doing it wrong.
And I always like to keep a garbage bowl in my sink so that when I'm putting everything in there, the skins, everything from the onion I use for soups and stews and things like that. So very carefully on the palm of your hand, I want you to slice kind of down a little bit the middle, but not getting to the root, okay? And then we're going to cut along, there are ridges along the onion. So we're going to cut along those ridges just like that. Not quite all the way to the root end. Holding it kind of like a baseball a little bit. And remember, we always want to hold our knife with our thumb and our forefinger and our hand tightly around the handle. So, and then we're just going to cut down in nice, small, even bits. And that's it. Real simple, real easy. And then again, we'll save that for some soup later on, and we'll get rid of this piece of.
How do you keep yourself from crying?
That's a good question. How do we keep ourselves from crying? the best way to keep yourself from crying is having a good fresh onion. The fresher the onion, the less tears you're going to have. As the onions get older, they start to disintegrate a little bit. Those cells start to break up, and they get wet. There's really not a great way to keep yourselves from crying. Thank you, Angelica. The ingredient list is so helpful. I'm glad you like having that up there. So that's that. We got the onion, and I'm going to get my pot started. So Georgina, if you want to turn on your pot a little bit,
Okay.
and
I'm
just
gonna
add
go
a little
to my
bit of olive
stove.
oil to that. We want to get that to start warming up. In the meantime, I'm going to crush up the garlic. I'm using 5 cloves of garlic. Yes, it's a lot of garlic. I like garlic. You can use 2, you can use 3, you can use a whole head of garlic if you'd like. That would be great too. So I'm just going to crush this garlic up here.
And garlic is not just for flavor, right?
Garlic is not just for flavor. Garlic is great for heart health, helps to lower your blood pressure, right? Dr. Georgina, we can use garlic. It might help lower our blood pressure. It might help us with our heart disease as well. So garlic is a great additive to any of your dishes. So I'm just crushing up the garlic. Rough chop. You can chop it up finer. If you have a garlic press, you can put it in a garlic press and press it out. That would be fine too. So just a rough chop. I don't mind biting into a piece of garlic here and there. A lot of people don't like that, but I'm good with that. The other thing you can do with garlic is if you have a grater like this, which I use to zest lemons and limes and things like that, and for cheese as well. But if you have one of these, you could grate your garlic on this and get a nice fine grate out of the garlic.
Be careful
So
of your
Gary, I have
Yes.
a question for you. When we put the onion and the garlic, what do you like? What is better to put first, the onions
Well,
or the garlic?
Usually the onions first, and then the garlic, because we don't want the garlic to burn. But because we're really just sweating these down today, we're going to put everything in the pot together. Okay? So I'm ready to go in. Are you ready to go into the pot?
I'm ready to go on the pot.
All right. Well, let's move over to our pot, and we'll get our onions and our garlic
Okay.
in there. The oil is hot at this point, so you're going to hear a nice little sizzle there. And we'll get those in. I'm going to turn this heat up just a little bit. So we're on a medium-low heat, Dr. Georgina. And what we want to do is we really want to just get these to start sweating down. And you'll start seeing, after about 2 or 3 minutes, we'll start seeing these turn a little translucent. Dr. Georgina, what are some of the other activities that the Heart Association has going on throughout the year, aside from just Heart Health Month, because the Heart Association works with people all year long. Heart Health Month is just the start, right? So what other kinds of things does the Heart Association have going on throughout the year to promote heart health?
There you go. Sorry. How long do we cook the? How long do we have to cook the onion? I'm going back to my cutting board in here.
2 or 3 minutes.
How long do we need to cook
these.
the onion and the garlic?
Say that again.
How long do we need to cook the onion and the garlic?
About 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
So, what other activities does the Heart Association have throughout the year?
I couldn't hear you, Gary. I'm sorry.
What other activities does the Heart Association have throughout the year to help promote heart?
Oh, we have what we just have last Friday, the Go Red for Women. It was a success. That's one of the big events that we have for the month of February. But in the month of March, we're going to have the Heart Ball. We're going to have the Heart Hats with Heart. That is in October. And
That's
we're going to
great.
have the Heart Walk in November. So we'll, and of course, if you want more information about the American Heart Association, you go to heart.org/Orlando.
Great. That's great information. So let's get back to our onions and our garlic. I am going to add in our white beans right now.
Okay.
Those are looking really good, and we don't want that garlic to burn. So we're gonna add
Okay.
those white beans.
Okay, let me go
Nice
ahead and go
sizzle
back to the
going.
stove.
And I'm gonna add some dry thyme. I know the recipe calls for fresh, but I could not find any fresh thyme. So I'm gonna add some dry thyme to this.
Okay.
And we're gonna give that a nice little stir and mix that in with the onions. Notice I haven't added any salt yet, right? So we try not to add too much salt because salt promotes high blood pressure, and we don't want to do that. So I'm using low sodium beans. I'm using a low sodium stock, and we're just gonna get this all mixed up. Once that stops sizzling a little bit, we're gonna add in our stock. So I'm adding about 2 cups of vegetable broth, which is about a half of one of these containers. Are you with me there, Dr. Georgina?
Yep. This is good. Hold on. I'm having some trouble hearing you, so I'm gonna have to go to my cutting board when I'm cooking this in here so that I can hear you better.
No
Okay.
worries.
So, Gary, we have other programs when this is cooking. We have community programs, the American Heart Association. We have what is the Kids Cook with Heart. That is actually in March, and that is part of Orlando Health also help with that. And we have the infant and school CPR kits. That is, the kits that we provide to them. And like I said before, for more information, heart.org/Orlando. So Gary, I have questions for you.
And those are great programs, especially the Kids Cook for Heart. I love that program. That's a program that's really, really important for our kids to learn about their heart health.
So if we want to have a little bit more recipes, we still have another few more days for Heart Month, right?
Yeah.
What are the recipes we can find in the YMCA, culinary things that you have?
That is a great question. So if anybody wants to, and we'll pop our website up on the screen for everybody, but it's ymcacf.org/recipes. And people can go there and you can actually search by low sodium diet, by any kind of dietary need. But we have some black bean brownies on there that are absolutely wonderful and great for heart health. We have some smoothies on there that are great for heart health. Of course, some chicken dishes, a lot of really low sodium meals. And, one of the things I like to do when I talk to people about low sodium dishes and heart health is there are so many things you can do. There are spices and herbs that just bring out so much flavor in what you're doing that you really don't need to add a lot of salt. A little quarter teaspoon, eighth of a teaspoon of salt, just to bring out the flavor of it. But you really don't need to add a lot of salt. And there are a lot of great salt-free spices and herbs that you can buy nowadays, like Mrs. Dash, that you can add into your foods, as well as Worcestershire sauce and other items that we can use. So Paula says, I've tried the black bean brownies and they were delicious. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Paula.
I'd love some other people to just tell us where they're tuning in from and watching us from, and hopefully there are some other people on who are really looking forward to it. Heart health is very important to me as well. 5 years ago, I had a triple bypass surgery. Really, genetics were the cause for me, so there were no symptoms or signs. I went for a physical and something didn't look right. And the doctors had me do a heart cath, and 2 days later I was on an operating table having a heart surgery. But I'm living a great life now, and heart health is really important to me. I'm going to check my beans here because they're coming to a boil.
Yeah, let me check mine.
And we have Paula tuning in
It's
from
looking
Orlando.
good, Gary.
And let's see, yours are looking good there.
Yeah.
Those are looking fantastic. And mine are at a nice boil.
So when do we add the the lemon zest?
We're
At
gonna
the
add
end?
the lemon zest right towards the end. We're gonna add the lemon juice and the lemon zest.
Here's what I found.
What I'm gonna do
Okay.
right now actually is we're going to add some red pepper flakes. I love a little bit of spice. You can add them, you can not add them as much or as little as you want. Like I said, we could add sriracha to this. You could add hot peppers, any kind of hot pepper, so even a jalapeno. Hi, Rebecca, tuning in from Winter Garden. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for joining
I
us.
also saw Heather online from Winter Garden earlier. Angelica is here from Celebration. Thank you for joining us as well. We're going to add in some pepper, some red pepper flakes. I love, and my wife loves a little spice. So we're going to put a good amount of spice in there. But chili flakes, chili pepper, serranos, anything like that. And peppers also, right? Peppers are really good for heart health. The capsaicin in them helps dilate your blood vessels and gives you a little help.
So Gary, can we add, other than the spinach that we're gonna have to the soup, can we add carrots?
Absolutely. You could add carrots to this. You could add some tomatoes if you wanted to. And really anything goes. I would love carrots in this, would be really great. Like we said earlier, you don't need, hi Kara, thank you for tuning in and joining us. Like I said earlier, you could do kale with this, you could do mustard greens, you could do collards, you could do chard. So really any good leafy green you can put into this to really give it some nice hardiness. So really, if you didn't have spinach and you wanted to use something else, that would be great. Lori, thank you. Collards are fantastic with beans. Yeah, they really are, aren't they? So let's check our soup and see where we're at. And what should start happening now is that liquid should start being boiled out and it should start thickening a little bit. And if, depending on how thick you like it, you can use the back of your spoon or even a potato masher to kind of mash those beans a little bit and release some of those starches. And that'll help to thicken it up a little.
Without flour.
Without flour. If you wanted to, you could use a little cornstarch to thicken, but you don't really need it in this. It's just going to thicken by itself. And you can kind of see it starting to get nice and thick and hearty. And at this point, Georgina, now we're going to add that lemon zest. So I'm going to take this lemon and we're going to zest it in, and then I'm going to cut it in half and I'm going to add the lemon juice as well. Did you already zest your lemon? So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm just going to give this some nice zest.
So Gary, what does the lemon does to the soup?
So
Other
the
than
lemon
flavor.
zest really, I love using the zest of any citrus fruit when I'm using any kind of citrus in my cooking, lemon, lime, orange, any of those, because it really brings out a lot more flavor. It adds so much flavor to your dish. And it's one of those things that, it's a chefy thing, let's just say. It just brings out the flavor and really enhances the flavor of your dish. So I love using the lemon. Does the lemon change the flavor a lot? No, the lemon does not change the flavor a lot, Paula. It just enhances the flavor and really brings out the flavor of all the vegetables and the beans and everything that's inside of it. So I'm going to cut this in half.
This is one of the ways you can add flavor without salt.
Correct. So lemons have a little salt, have a salty flavor. So again, another level that we're using to increase the saltiness of the dish without actually adding any salt to the dish. So we're just going to juice these in, and
So Gary, can you add, at the end, more salt if you need a little bit more salt, or more spices if you need to?
Yeah.
Because that's a myth. No, you cannot add anything after the fact.
No, and a matter of fact, Georgina, when you're cooking with beans or lentils, for that matter, you really want to add the salt towards the end, because what happens is the salt will toughen up the lentils or toughen up the beans a little bit. So if you want them to be a little more tender, add that salt at the end. But don't forget, we're also going to add a little Parmesan cheese at the very end. And that Parmesan cheese has a lot of salt in it also. It's very salty. So that, again, is going to bring out some of the salty flavor. Hi, Cara from Winter Garden. So we're gonna
Gary, I'm
add-
gonna have to do 2 patch because my husband does not like Parmesan cheese. I love cheese. I eat anything with cheese. So
We are cheese
Oh.
lovers in our house as well. You know, you could add mozzarella cheese to this if you wanted to. You could add Gruyere cheese to this if you wanted to. You know, being it's more of a Mediterranean style dish, Parmesan cheese, of course, is the cheese of choice. Or you could just leave the cheese out if you're lactose intolerant.
What
or
about
something like that.
nutritional yeast?
so
You could add nutritional yeast to this as well. That's a very good point. Yes.
so the spinach. Do we need to cut the spinach when we put it in there?
Nope, we're gonna put the spinach in after I finish putting in the lemon juice. We're gonna put the spinach in there. We're gonna cover it for a minute or two, just so that it kind of wilts down a little bit. It's gonna be really tender and really nice. That baby spinach really doesn't need to be cut down at all. If you were using chard or kale or something like that, you would want to pull the greens off of the stem because those stems can be really tough.
Okay. Gonna put the lemon.
I got my lemon in here. Look at how thick and nice this is right now.
Smells good.
This is beautiful. A lot of that stock has boiled out. And
Really
it's
smells
nice
delicious.
coming together. I'm going to go ahead and add my spinach. Georgina, as soon as you're ready, you can go ahead and add yours. And I'm just going to take a handful. This is great if you
Okay,
have
I'm gonna go get the
greens
spinach.
that are going bad in your refrigerator. This is a great
Okay.
dish to make with those greens. And I'm just going to throw the spinach right on top. Just like that. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir and kind of fold those greens in a little bit.
All right.
And you can see that they are starting to wilt already.
So we have another question from Miss Paula. Does it matter if you use dry beans or beans from a can?
Well, no, it doesn't actually. You know, dried beans, obviously, you're going to have to soak them and cook them to get them back to hydrate them. So canned beans are just a quick and easy way to use them. Make sure you're using those low sodium beans, though. Great question. Thank you.
So Gary,
Yes.
when I went to purchase my beans, there were 2 kind of white beans.
Yes. Great.
Can you
Northern
tell me the
beans.
difference between the 2 of them?
They're pretty similar. You know, they're so you probably found Great Northern beans or cannellini beans. Cannellini beans, it's just the region really where they're coming from. The cannellini beans are a little starchier, so they're going to thicken up a little bit more. The Great Northern beans aren't quite as starchy. They're a little harder in texture than the white beans, so they don't cook down as much, but either one would be fine.
Good.
And I'm just going to
So Gary,
this in a little bit more.
this is a personal question. Who cooks better, you or your wife? You better respond to this
I'm going
question
to let
very.
my wife answer that question.
100% Gary cooks better.
Oh,
I
okay.
bake, he cooks.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
Gary,
not the baker.
I
but
think
we've
you
done
need
some
to come to
baking.
my house and have my husband learn from you.
Anytime. Let's make it happen, Georgina. I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese. I'm going to shut this off because you can see in the
Okay.
last shot there that the greens have come together. They've wilted nicely. Look how beautiful they are. Look at that. They're just nice. They're green. They're bright. That's what you want. All that color.
And Gary, can I put mine after the fact because it's not my husband? He's not gonna eat it.
Sure. Sure. You can put
Okay, I'm
yours
gonna go
after
to the
fact.
stove.
I'm going to add a little Parmesan cheese right now.
looks good.
Just like that.
And we always like to shred our own cheese because
And I like to shred my own cheese because a lot of the packaged cheeses, you gotta be careful. They put, you know, sometimes there's
Gary, question for you. Can we have like a side dish with this, like a white rice? you know,
Mhm,
I'm
absolutely.
Hispanic, so I like
Absolutely.
rice
I
everything.
would serve this as the side dish probably, and then make like some grilled chicken breast or or some salmon or any other kind of white fish would be great with this. But I would do the beans as the side dish. But if you wanted to put it over rice, absolutely 100%. Remember, we want to cook to our cultures. We want to cook to what we enjoy eating. I would totally eat this with white rice. Thank you, Paula. Yeah, I would do it with brown rice probably, but because I like brown rice. But you could do this with white rice. You could do this with brown rice. You could do this with anything you wanted to. But I would
Well,
love to do this.
You're right.
With a
We
piece
have
of
to be
steak.
healthy, so it has to be brown rice.
Right, right. So I'm gonna
So
serve this
Kiara
up.
was saying that you were a very smart man because you were asking your wife, you know, you didn't respond that you make your wife answer for you. I think that was what she was referring to.
Look at how beautiful this is, everybody.
Let me see.
Can you see that?
That is beautiful.
There we go.
There we go.
Good shot. Good shot.
Well, let me
I'm gonna-
do mine. I have to get the dish because I didn't prepare that one, but hold on.
And the level of flavor in this is incredible.
Let's see.
I'm gonna add a little bit more Parmesan.
Let's
cheese,
see if
because
it's
that's
as
what we
good
like.
as yours. Let's see.
And
Oh,
you
that's
see,
not
this
bad
dish
at
comes
all.
together pretty quickly, right, Georgina? And it
Yeah,
wasn't
hold on.
difficult to make at
Hold
all.
on, Gary. Let's see. Look, Gary.
Oh, that's beautiful. Perfect.
Thank you.
That is perfect.
So what was your question?
I said this was an easy dish to make, right? Not difficult. And you know what's great about this is you have lots of pantry staples and pantry ingredients that you can put into this. So, you know, a lot of people have beans in the house. A lot of people have onions and garlic, cheeses, some vegetable stock or chicken stock in their cupboard. So that's one of the things I love about this. It's a quick, easy weeknight meal. Thank you, Angelica. You're right. It was extremely quick and extremely easy. So, Georgina, thank you. Thank you. Dinner at Georgina's. Yes, Heather, we will go to Georgina's tonight.
Definitely. Come
And I'm
on.
going to teach Georgina's husband how to cook healthy, and we're going to do that. This is a great dish. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Make it your own. Remember, what I always like to teach people is I'm giving you the basics for creating something that you're going to enjoy and that your family is going to enjoy and the flavors that you like. So these are the basics. This is kind of like, you know, this is your palate, right? And you're creating your own food from there. So
Gary,
thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dr. Georgina. It was great having you. I look forward to meeting you again and seeing you again. This was fantastic and entertaining. Thank you, Paula. I'd love you to post a picture on our Facebook page of what your dish comes out looking like. And anybody else who makes this, go ahead and post a picture for us. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll see you again soon. Remember,
thank you, Gary.
Next month, the fourth Wednesday of every month, we do Healthy Living Live. And next month is National Nutrition Month. So we'll have something special for you for that one as well. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.